I have the weirdest life, I really do. Once again, I find myself in the middle of a brouhaha as I appear to have run afoul of probably the worst woman in American politics, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court, which is lovely, a lovely thing to say. So I made a joke. I said, where is Will Smith when you need him? What she does instead of working, she tweets. After she saw it, she tweeted, ABC contacts my employer. This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police.
Breaking news. Comedy legends declare war on bad hair and alternative facts. Kimmel and Stewart team up to roast Trump and MTG harder than a Thanksgiving turkey. But wait, there's more. Trump's response is so wild, it makes his usual tweets look like Shakespeare.
It's nothing to... His original sentence was 30 years, but the judge shaved 3 years off for good behavior. Maggots is Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's getting divorced. Her husband, Perry Greene, filed for divorce yesterday after 27 years. And in the space where he had to state the reason for divorce, he wrote, "I am married to Marjorie Taylor Greene."
You won't believe what happens next. Seriously, we couldn't make this stuff up if we tried. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
How does this even compute? This woman, you may remember, she's the one who endorsed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly indicated support for executing prominent Democratic politicians. Any kind of threats against anyone, especially as I get dozens of them a week myself from the sickos who align with you. I also find it very rich that a person who did this in her campaign ad is suddenly whining about fantasies of violence. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of. She's a snowflake and a sociopath at the same time. A snowciopath, as we from now on.
Jimmy Kimmel's been at it again, folks. This time, he's not just poking fun at Trump's policies or tweets. He's going straight for the follicles. Yep, you heard that right. Kimmel's latest monologue was a full-on assault on the former president's infamous hairdo.
Bring me my writing desk, will you? Thank you. And Guillermo, thank you. Bring me my writing chair. And Jeff, if you would, I'd love to have some writing music while I do this, because I'm writing a letter. I'm going right to the top. Nobody does anything. I feel like maybe other Republicans like having her around to make the rest of them seem normal. And by the way, if she's going to report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police. I'll go to the Justice League, okay? I'll keep my Jewish space laser set to gazpacho in case. And by the way, it wasn't just Marjorie who's all fired up. I got mean tweets from Diamond and Silk, which hurts because, you know, I'm a big fan.
It all started innocently enough. Kimmel was doing his usual rundown of the day's political news when he suddenly paused, squinting at a recent photo of Trump. Is it just me? He asked the audience. Or does Trump's hair look like a bird's been using it as an Airbnb? The audience chuckled, but little did they know Kimmel was just warming up. He launched into a barrage of hair-related zingers that had the crowd in stitches. I mean, come on, Kimmel quipped. I've seen less confusion on a mop after it's cleaned up a spill in the juice aisle. But the comedian wasn't done yet. He suggested that maybe Trump had mistaken Rogaine for hairspray. It would explain the volume, Kimmel mused, and possibly some of his more, let's say, ambitious ideas. The audience howled as Kimmel pantomimed spraying an entire can of hairspray directly into his mouth.
This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police. By the way, if she's going to report me to the police, if that's how she wants to play it, I'll report you right back. And I won't go to the police. I'll go to the Justice League, okay? Dear, I'm writing about a woman who might be a supervillain. Like the Joker, she thinks she is funny. And like the Penguin, she is 5 foot. Do you know what a vomit you have to be to get called out by Marjorie Taylor Greene?
As the laughter died down, Kimmel leaned in conspiratorially. You know, he said, I'm starting to think that hair of his might actually be a very confused squirrel. It's the only explanation for why it seems to be running in circles on his head. The jokes kept coming, each one wilder than the last. Kimmel compared Trump's hair to everything from a poorly made cotton candy machine to a tribble from Star Trek that had a run-in with a leaf blower. But it was his final punchline that really brought the house down. "You know," Kimmel said, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes, "they say hair is the window to the soul. If that's true, Trump's soul must be a tangled mess of polyester and broken dreams. No wonder all his schemes are so harebrained." As the audience erupted into applause, little did Kimmel know that his follicular assault was causing a stir beyond the studio. Over on Twitter, Marjorie Taylor Greene was working herself into a lather. Apparently she couldn't handle a little hair humor. Maybe she was worried Kimmel would come for her bleach job next. Just when you thought the comedy roast of Trump couldn't get any hotter, Jon Stewart decided to crash the party. And boy, did he bring the heat. While Kimmel was busy with Trump's hair, Stewart set his sights on something a little more orange. It all started innocently enough. Stewart was reminiscing about beautiful sunsets, you know, those natural wonders that paint the sky in vibrant hues. But then, quicker than you can say, spray tan, he pivoted to Trump's unnaturally vibrant skin tone. "You know what else is unnaturally orange?" Stewart quipped. "Our former president's face." The audience erupted in laughter, but Jon was just getting warmed up. He compared Trump's complexion to a radioactive Cheeto, suggesting that perhaps the former president had been marinating in nuclear waste. "I've seen traffic cones with more natural skin tones," Stewart joked, leaving the crowd in stitches. But Stewart wasn't done yet. He took aim at the fakeness of Trump's tan, saying it was so phony it could run for office on its own. Trump's tan is so fake, it's currently leading in the polls for the 2024 Republican nomination, he quipped. The audience howled with laughter, clearly loving every minute of Stewart's orange-tinted takedown. As the laughter died down, Jon pondered aloud if Trump's unusual coloring might serve a purpose. Maybe he's trying to camouflage himself as a traffic cone to avoid detection by the FBI, Stewart mused. Or perhaps he's auditioning for a role as an Oompa Loompa in the next Willy Wonka remake. The comedian then delivered his mic drop moment, linking Trump's tan to his supposed transparency. "Trump always claimed he'd run the most transparent administration in history," Stewart said. "I guess he meant it literally. His skin is so thin and orange you can practically see right through him." Meanwhile, over on Twitter, Marjorie Taylor Greene's feed was heating up faster than Trump's tanning bed. She furiously typed tweet after tweet, defending her orange-hued hero against the onslaught of comedic jabs. It seemed the more Stewart joked, the more worked up MTG became. As the comedy snowball gained momentum, our orange-hued protagonist couldn't take the heat. Trump finally cracked, unleashing a Twitter tirade in all caps about those unfair comedians. You could almost hear the tiny keyboard clicks as he furiously typed away. Meanwhile, Kimmel and Stewart were having a field day, their final quips sending the audience into fits of laughter. Stewart joked, "Looks like someone's diaper needs changing." Kimmel chimed in, maybe he should build a wall around his Twitter account. The lesson here, sometimes, when faced with political madness, all you can do is laugh. After all, laughter is the best medicine, even for a case of Trumpitis.